Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about the after party for Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 6.
Shout out to everybody who do not get the after party where they're at. We will do our best to make sure that y'all see it through us. But we need you to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So first on the stage for the first 30 minutes, we've got Michelle, Juan, and Lateris Whitfield, who is the podcast host and creator for the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned and more interested in Michelle. I want to hear your part of the story, Michelle.
We see the clip of Michelle paddleboarding with David.
Yeah.
Michelle did find it hard to get out of those dark moments of having issues with the fact that David lived at home. She said she would wake up and try to think about having a good day, but then something would happen that would just set her off and she would be back in that dark place.
Wow.
Things did get lighter when they started doing activities together, including the paddle boarding. Michelle talks about how she was overwhelmed with learning that he stayed at home and it's not attractive to her that a man would live at home.
Yeah.
Now, Lateris gave a different perspective on how he believes that the issue here is that David is not providing a solution as to what life would look like as them as a couple.
Yeah.
Lateris was saying that women need security and she probably didn't feel secure with what he was saying. Michelle isn't picking up on his future plans and it doesn't seem as though there's been much saving for him to move out and to progress to different things.
I could have swore David said something about the plan is not to move you down here.
Yes.
I could have swore David said that.
He did say that.
I could have swore David said something like, yeah, I'm just living there for now, but once, we get married and things like that, then we get our own spot. I think he said that.
Michelle doesn't have to try to pick up on anything if she would ask some questions.
Yeah. Oh, listen, but she called it such a dark cloud of him being home with his mother. And truth be told, once we actually see that apartment, listen, Michelle, the problem that I had with you is that if you just would have been nice and just been a wife, people would have been on your side. You would have been proven correct. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you chose. And the thing about it is your friends know how you are because they say, hey, try not to be judgmental. You chose to be basically to show such resistance and be mean.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying about the whole thing that you colored his whole character with this whole thing. And then it started coming out in meanness and you just being short with him. So you would have been proven correct if you just would have just played your part. But now we don't like you. You get what I'm saying? When I say we, I'm talking about the collective Married at First Sight people that review the show.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
We see the clip when Juan tells Karla that he forgot about her. Juan explains that what he meant was that he was very much in the moment and just experiencing the moment with David. He knows that he sounded like an a-hole when he said that he forgot about her, and that's totally something he should have never said. They have the do-over segment, and Juan agrees that about the negativity and how it was fun to get away and to do our own things, and he knows that he should have been more agreeable to what she was saying and the fact that they found some space and now that he's happy they're back together.
Yeah.
Michelle talks about how she ran into Karla after their dinner, and Karla was mad.
Yeah.
She would have wanted, at least Michelle thinks that Karla would have wanted that quality time for them to build their bond stronger.
I don't want nobody with David, basically.
Then we see the clip when Karla forgot about Juan. The story behind it is that he usually puts his stuff in her bag, and she left, and so he didn't have his stuff in any bag, so he had to ask the staff for a bag, and they gave him a clear trash bag. He went to breakfast. He saw Karla sitting there with Madison, and she completely ignored him. He then forgot his bag at breakfast, and what we saw was them retrieving the bag from the breakfast, so that way he could have his clothes again.
Yeah.
He thinks that overall it was a good story, even though she was being spiteful.
No, stop right there. Based on the explanation that Juan gave about the reasons why he said what he said, do you accept it?
I do.
Okay, well, you're nice. Because I'm like, even that explanation is not an excuse. It's not even a good explanation, in my opinion, to say I was having such a good time and I was such in the moment with David that I went and told my wife that I forgot about you. No, I don't accept that. And guess what? I do agree with Juan as well. She was being spiteful. I don't think her plan worked. You get what I'm saying? Because you forgot to pack his clothes and he forgot to pick up his clothes. So it's like, y'all just need to just reset. Stuff like this, it's a draw, reset, let's move on. You have any thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
Sushi date, Michelle is talking about growing up near her grandparents. Michelle explains that her parents are divorced. They've been divorced ever since she was little, so she doesn't ever remember them being together. She grew up in Illinois in a very rural area. Her parents worked several jobs to make ends meet, and she equated David living at home to the hardships that she had when growing up.
She got a lot of excuses, boy.
She didn't communicate that to David, that it was a trigger for her in that way, and she knows that she was being very guarded and having a hard time opening up. Latera says most people aren't psychics. The trauma she experienced is boiling over into her marriage, but he doesn't know. If you give each other the space to learn each other and stay committed, then you can overcome a lot of things.
Yeah.
Michelle thinks little by little, these good moments, she's feeling more carefree, she's getting to know him better, and he is a kind and thoughtful person.
Start right there. What is your thoughts about Michelle throughout this after party so far?
Michelle was trying to come across nicer.
Thank you.
And to come across more easygoing. I don't think that's Michelle. Michelle is a judgmental, rigid person. And there really was nothing that David could do after he gave her that information for her to view him any differently or even treat him any differently.
Yeah.
So I hear what she's saying is kind of like Monday, like, what is it called? Like quarterbacking or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah. And I think that she's trying to give explanations. And I can understand that maybe her past traumas is what triggered her in this situation. I'll give her that much bail if that's where she says it's coming from. But it doesn't give you an excuse to be awful to this man.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, Blair. This is PR.
Yeah.
She's doing a little public relations right now. She's looking at the scene.
Because she wants some brands. She wants some sponsorships after this.
Actually, I don't even think it's that. Because
True.
I don't even think people get that from this show. Because
not
not
a
lot of people get married or stay married on this show.
True.
So she's trying to spin it. That's all she's trying to do. Well, like it just reminded me of hardships. No. Don't do that. Because you did not express that. You did not want to express that. And we seen it in real time. And now, and guess what? Keisha and Latarius, they're nice, and they basically trying to make lemonade out of your lemons and things of that nature. But we seen you basically tell him, "Don't talk to me," cut him off and then accuse him, gaslighting him of basically making it seem like he was cutting you off. We seen you not. David told us in the other after party that y'all don't even be in the same room. So it don't have nothing to do with, it reminded me of my hardships of my grandparents and things like that. You did not respect David because he's younger than you and that he's a mama's boy. And at the end of the day, and also you did not find him attractive. You get what I'm saying? So you're just trying to find things and something nice to say about David while you're on the show. Well, he's kind and thoughtful. Well, mind you, he's doing these things for you.
They're actually around the same age, though. She's 36. He's 37, I think.
No, he's 2 years younger than her.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, moving on.
Yes.
Karla and Juan do the underwater photo shoot. He knew that she was still upset, but it was nice that they could work through their issues during the photo shoot. In the past, he would have been dismissive, but he was proud of himself that he wasn't this time. When she's stressed, she tends to hug trees, and that's what she was doing before the photo shoot got started. The guys had to tell her to not be hugging up on all the trees because some of them are poisonous.
She is weird. Why are you hugging a tree for, man?
I thought that was a funny story. Juan says that he is, we see the clip when Juan says that he was very regimented during the week when he's at home.
Yeah.
He talks about how he does 2 workouts a day. He works his regular job as well as his company that he owns.
Yeah.
He usually gets home by 9 p.m. And Keisha asked a very good question. She asked, when do you have time for a wife? And I could see in Juan's mind that he didn't consider that. I could see it kind of working in his head that's a good question.
Why did I sign up for the show?
Juan explains that he does work from home, so he has that time there. He makes time for a social life, but he's intentional about his structure.
No. See, no. I was hoping you picked up on that too.
Yeah.
Juan, you did not consider Karla.
No.
Even though she be outside hugging tree barks and things of that nature, right? Throughout your whole time, because you didn't consider Karla while talking to Karla when you was telling her how much of a good time you was having with David. I'm going to stick on that, Blair.
Okay.
You ain't going to move me off my square on that one, right? But what I'm saying is, you talking about how regimented you are and how focused you are and you run this company and you go at this job and I don't get home till 9 o'clock. And then Keisha was like, well, when do you have time for a wife? Well, I do have one of those, do I? And now you're trying to fit her in, right? Trying to squeeze her into your life besides making things revolve around y'all two. Yeah. And now you're trying to find little third place prizes as in like, well, I do work from home, so there's time, but she don't work from home. So like what does that mean? She over here teaching Pilates or yoga or like whatever she's doing. So one, I think you will have to restructure your structure and actually come up with a whole new day-to-day regimented plan. And if you are as regimented as you say you are, then guess what? Karla should feel secured and everything in your day-to-day because you are intentional with your day. So you should be intentional in loving your wife.
Yeah, right? and scheduling time to spend with her.
Yes.
Michelle talked about how she was not ready to share a bed with David. Yeah. Michelle, when she rewatched the scene while they were sitting there, she says that initially she couldn't see how nervous David was when he was talking to her. They didn't share a bed on the honeymoon, and she was anxious going back to Chicago about moving in when they don't really have a good foundation.
Who contributed to not having a good foundation, guys?
Michelle. In the past, she would have just left, but she is willing to move in with him. And Lateris tells her that you just have to lean into the experiment. You can't a la carte the experience. I was just like, yes. You can't just pick and choose, okay? David is trying to cultivate a space of safety, and Michelle is putting her walls up. She needs to lean in and be the wife that he needs.
Hold on. I'm not done talking about Michelle.
Go ahead.
I'm not talking about Michelle. We ain't going to speed through Michelle. Michelle, as she is trying to do this public relation thing, this PR thing, she said, I did not notice how nervous David was talking to me. David was nervous talking to you the whole time, right? So that already lets me know that you did not view him as a person at all throughout the whole honeymoon, right? I don't even know if he was such a dark cloud or such an enemy of you that now you're looking back and now you're trying to find a nice word to say, well, I know how nervous he was. And like, we didn't share a bed throughout the whole honeymoon. Well, whose fault was that? Like that was a David fault. David didn't want to sleep by the pool. David didn't want to sleep on the couch, right? But David knew that if he would have gotten that bed, you would have crashed out. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So don't make it seem like the foundation just wasn't there for us to share a bed. We just didn't have enough time. You waited to the last day where productions came in and told you, hey, just make it work. And then now you want to blame it on, we don't have a good foundation. That's why I don't feel safe of sharing a bed. It's a lot of, I don't like this safety talk when it comes to David. As in, like, I don't feel safe around David and things like that. David haven't done anything to us that we've seen on camera for you to feel unsafe with him and things of that nature.
Yeah, I want to kind of hone in on what Lateris is saying because I don't really care what Michelle got to say. It's anxiety, it's safety, it's this, it's that. It's always something. And although those things can be very real, she is using them as an excuse, and she is also being mean. You can be anxious and be decent.
Yeah, that's facts.
Okay. Now, when Lateris talks about how she needs to lean in and be the wife that he needs, I think that is a discussion on changing your focus. You're so concerned about yourself and what you don't like about him that you're not even considering the fact that you are someone's wife now, and you need to try to figure out what David needs in a partner and be curious and interested in seeing how you can show up for somebody else. And her concern and her thoughts are not on her partner at all. And I think that's something that she needed to take into consideration, or really do, honestly.
No, 100%. Yeah. Besides giving herself grace.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, Juan shares a funny moment that he had with Karla. There are these big animals that look like big rats in Mexico. One pooped on him while they were having dinner. It was kind of like a little dog poo. He cleaned it off. But he felt that it was really incredible because what is the fortune that one of these animals would poop on me? And he said it was something like winning the lottery by how rare that probably is. Keisha tells him your optimism is so refreshing, and she sees why Karla and Juan were put together. She is rooting for them.
I would have crashed out if one of them things would have pooped on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's move on to our next two people.
All right, we've got Camille Allen, and Lateris is there still. Camille talked about packing the sexy lingerie and never made his appearance. Camille explains that they hold hands, they have physical touch, but Thomas was being very respectful.
Nice.
Alan explains for his side, there hasn't been much affection. Lateris explains that vulnerability and transparency is what makes a successful marriage. Say what your boundaries are and take the journey together.
Okay. I like that.
we see a clip of the Mayan jungle ceremony with Alan, and Alan explains that a lot was not shown during that scene. There was something that was put up his nose that he snorted, started crying, and it kind of got dramatic. So he was glad that that part wasn't shown. What Latera sees in the scene is that they are very much present with each other. They're still in the process. Yeah. He's been rejected, but he's still present. And he also calls him a king, and they cheers to that.
Listen, Alan is full in. Even though he has his own version of Michelle named Madison. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thomas is talking about how he's not the traditional guy that she dates. We see that clip. She knows that this is a sensitive spot for him, but she was trying to figure out how she could be honest, but not hurt his feelings at the same time. Alan has expressed the forward nature of how he should conduct himself. Now, Alan explains that Thomas spoke with him about how Camille has wanted him to be more forward. And he had some nerves about, how to be assertive and bordering the boundaries of what she would prefer not to happen and being respectful, but also being assertive. So Thomas was just trying to figure out what a happy medium was.
Yeah. And I just want to say this. I don't think it's fair for one person to put, especially in this experiment, for one person to put the full burden of being assertive, right? I understand that in a traditional sense, like the man is the one that's assertive, that basically make the moves and things like that. But this is such a unique experience that y'all are married and strangers at the same time and dating at the same time. So I do think that because both of y'all jumped into the deep end of this pool called Married at First Sight, to put all that pressure as if y'all got married traditionally is kind of weird to me. You get what I'm saying? I feel like she could have met him halfway. I understand that she said that she's trying to find a balance of how can she be honest without hurting his feelings and things like that. But I can understand Thomas being timid and kind of being respectful, if that's the word we're going to use, because he's like, this is not traditional. This is weird. You get what I'm saying? This is strange. Yesterday, I was sleeping by myself. Today, I'm sleeping with a total stranger who's my wife. You get what I'm saying? And I don't want to mess this up. And this is not a marriage that we just married forever. In 6 weeks, they get to decide if they want to stay with me. So I don't want to, basically disrespect this stranger. So that's why I'm like, the pressure, it may have just been too much pressure on Thomas alone. And it would have been nice if Camille or to see someone else take that pressure off just one spouse, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because of this experience. In this experience specifically, that is.
I would agree. Madison talks about her preference to have a partner who hits the gym.
Okay.
Alan says that he wasn't offended, but the only thing that kind of was offensive is when she talked about she wanted a guy who takes care of himself. Yeah. And Camille agreed that the way that Madison phrased it sounded as though he doesn't take care of himself. Camille shared that she was stuffed. Oh, before we get to that, any thoughts about Madison's comment about wanting someone who takes care of themselves?
I can see why she wants somebody to be in a gym because she's in a gym. But I don't think it's coming from an honest place that it's going to progress their relationship because she already made her decision that she don't want him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think with Madison, what I think a lot of the people on the show are doing is they're not giving their partner enough space to be themselves. Yeah. So they can actually see what they like about the person. If you're constantly putting somebody in a box or saying, put this part of yourself away, or I need you to be like this and I need you to be like that, then you never really get to see the person for how they really are and fall in love with the person that they are. There's always going to be things that you would want to tweak or change about somebody because there's always things we want to do that with ourselves as well. But they're not allowing their partners to be seen in totality so you can truly fall in love. And I think that once you start picking apart pieces of people, it takes away the positive parts too, So I think that's something that sucks that, they find themselves doing.
I think you're right. Especially this is not Build a Bear. And to your point, all these conversations are being had during the honeymoon and day one in the apartment. This is not like weeks into where they got to know the person or anything like that. So you are right.
Yeah. Well, Camille Camille shared that she was stuck between Thomas and David in the middle seat on their flight back because David was trying to give Michelle the space that she always asks for. But for Camille, it was too much shoulder going on. She's like, I'm a little thick girl myself, and I got these two big guys. It was quite uncomfortable on the flight back.
That's craziness because she wanted a window seat. I don't want to sit next to you. David want a window seat. She wants a window seat. Michelle just didn't want to sit next to David. Yeah, basically.
We see Madison leaving to go out their first night in the apartment. Alan was feeling sad and disappointed. That was supposed to be a moment for them to connect. He spoke to a couple of German ladies out while he was out at the pool, and he had a nice evening, but it wasn't with the woman he wanted to spend it with.
That was so nice to say. Yeah. That was really nice to say.
Yeah. Lateris says that we have to be mindful of first.
I like that.
Camille thought it would have been nice to sleep in her own bed at home, but it's really about investing in the process and not retreating to your comfort zone.
Yeah, Camille was even like, she was like, whoa, I ain't know that. That was wild. Then she even talked about, in which I respect that Camille said this. She said, look, with this experiment, I wanted to go home.
Be in my bed in my house.
I want to be in my bed, be in my comfort zone, but I had to lean into the experiment. So Madison, she just can't help it. Yeah. What's in her is going to come out of her, and we're going to see Alan get big disappointed in this season. That's why we even though we're not seeing the couples basically be next to each other during the after party, but you could tell that Alan was hurt by this experiment with Madison and things like that. Because listen here, you wanted to be with one girl who believes she deserved pretty boys, but she's chopped herself, and the Lord sent you two Germans. Okay. Hey, you like, but I still want to spend time with Madison? I'm like, man, you a nice guy. Okay. You really a nice guy, man. Because I'm like, this is a great evening. I got a hot tub up top. Because he's he said he had wine for her and things like that, things planned out. And he was spending so much time with the Germans that he said he had to go get a six-pack and things like that. I'm like, you had a night. Yeah. But he wanted to spend it with Madison. He's a nice guy. Yeah. He may be a little dunce and maybe aloof, but he's a nice guy, Anything else from this after party that really stuck out to you besides Michelle trying to get her PR on?
That's it.
Listen here, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. What do y'all think about the after party? Let us know. We see y'all.
Bye.